what you're all thinking. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. It's only Tuesday? Ugh. On and Off the Field's live on Facebook. That must mean it's a Tuesday. Well, guess what? It is not a Tuesday. It is Thursday, July 30th. It is July still. July 30th. Almost so close. We're almost out of this month. But I don't. What's the new thing now for 2020? Are we doing? We got rid of the coin shortage. That thing didn't really last long. We're doing the seeds now from like China. Have you seen
I saw that. I did see that. Yeah.
People are getting seeds. Don't plant them. Don't. If I'm going to give you any advice for this entire show, if you receive those, don't. I feel like you should know better, but just don't. Welcome to On and Off the Field with Derf and Dylan. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're tuning in, we're going to be going live on Thursdays now on Facebook, just strictly for On and Off the Field's page. If you want to head over to RTF's page right now for the next 27 minutes, PZ and To Be Blunt is live right now on the network.
Yeah.
So you can go hang out with them, or you can stay here with us. Either way, we're cool with that. But this episode will be up just like it always is on our regular podcasting platform. So make sure you share this, you subscribe to it, you follow it, and you like it. And Fred can tell you where all of that is and more.
Oh, yeah. So go ahead and follow On and Off the Field on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch this show live right now. You can also get on our YouTube channel uncut episodes, our live shows that I just mentioned, and other great content. Make sure to rate and review the show on iTunes so we know how we are doing and what you like or dislike about the show. You can find all of these links at onandoffthefield.com along with our fundraising efforts and to learn more about myself, Dylan, and the show. And while you're on your mobile device or computer or however you surf the interwebs, head on over to rtfsportsnetwork.com where starting August 3rd, which is just next Monday, you can now catch On and Off the Field on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I always say, when you are on that rtfsportsnetwork.com website, make sure to check out all the great blogs that all of our great writers are writing on the network. There's some really great content over there, so get on over there and start reading.
Yeah, new show times for the entire network coming here on August 3rd. We're really spicing things up. We're working on adding a lot of great new shows. I'll give you a hint towards one that we're talking about. One of them is hosted by a former NFL cheerleader. Stuff is in the works. Stuff is in the works for the network here. So we're trying our best to bring you the best content. So some of the stuff that's coming out here on the network is we got the new show, Triple Shot Sports. They're also playing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I also think they're going to be live on Facebook. They normally go live Tuesdays and Thursdays, pretty much along with us. Strikeout Beer, they're always live Wednesday nights, 8 to 9 or 8 to 9:30-ish. Just a lot of great shows. I think they're also doing Fridays now. A lot of our top shows are doing multiple spots now. So it's only going to make the network better. There's just a bunch of great. I always like to give a shout out to Behind the Bunker. If you ever watch them, it's a paintball show, and it's very well produced. I really enjoy that show. Every time I get to, I catch it. It comes across my Facebook every once in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are really good. So shout out to Behind the Bunker. That's my show. My show shout out for this week, I guess. We do charity. That's the other part of the show. We do charity. Feeding America and the Boys and Girls Club of America is still up on our website, onandoffthefield.com. And if you want to be part of our small fundraising effort, which is our fantasy football league, the OOTF Fantasy Football League is a $20 buy-in. All the money goes to the Boys and Girls Club of America. I cannot give you your money back if the league is canceled. Just know that heading into the season. So if you want to be a part of it, just slide into our DMs, let us know. And you can also follow the OOTF family group page. I'm imagining the draft will be somewhere near the end of August, I think. Mid to late August.
Yeah.
It might get pushed into September. I don't think we have to worry about the season starting anytime soon with preseason being canceled and all that. I'm not entirely sure when the first game is. So we'll figure it out. We'll let you know.
All right.
We had some new people join in. We have the 2B Blunt crew is actually going to team up and do one.
Nice.
And guys from Triple Shot Sports are also doing a slot. So we're up to 9 people. I'd like to do a 12-person league. So we got 3 spots left open for people.
Nice.
And if we need to make another league, if just for some reason a bunch of people decide to join in at the last minute, we'll be more than happy to help you. So what's 12 times 20? 240?
Yeah.
That's $240 for charity. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. And since these are teams, like Triple Shot Sports, if each person, 2B Blunt, if each person wants to give 20.
Felt the need to give 20, not just the one-time fee. Yeah. Yeah,
maybe if we can push this up to, $300,
yeah.
$350, $360 towards charity.
Hey,
just saying.
Never know.
Never know. It's all going towards charity. It's whatever you feel like you want to give. So that's all of our announcements. We are ready to start the show, and we finally have an idea for a transition into this. It's not ready yet, but just know there's a transition coming into this next segment that I think is going to be really, really stupid, but it can't be any stupider than the other sports. I tried throwing it over the shoulder that time. It didn't work.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, you didn't even see it. That's the issue. It's got to be a little bit more visible. I have to work on this. Let's just try one more.
All right.
Oh, boy.
You can do it.
Oh, it was closer.
It was closer.
It was closer. All right. We'll figure that out. I'll practice throughout the week. Now I only got 2 left over here. All right. So, the other sports. First and foremost, the NBA is back. And the NBA, it's on right now, actually.
Yeah.
It's the Jazz versus the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to give you a quick game update. The Jazz lead 23-17. And the big question was, is Zion Williamson going to play? He is playing, but they said in short bursts, whatever that means. He's played 3 minutes. Hey, look at this. He's the second highest scoring player on the Pelicans right now with 5 points. He's 2 for 2 from the floor.
Wow.
And he's only played 3 minutes.
That's what I call efficiency.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram is the highest scorer. He shot 3 for 7, 1 for 2 from 3-point range, and he's played 9 minutes. Lamar, I think it's that Ball kid, Lamar Ball, whatever his name is. He's 0 for 4. He's played 7 minutes.
Was it Lonzo Ball?
Oh, Lonzo Ball. That's right. Yeah, Lonzo Ball.
They all have L names.
Yeah, the other Ball is going to be drafted this year, I think. And then Drew Holiday, 9 minutes, 1 for 3, 1 for 2 from 3-point range. So he has 3 points, which doesn't sound right because he probably some rough. But basically, Zion has been on the floor for only 3 minutes, and he's the second highest scorer on the team. The kid's going to be special. Just imagine if he actually played the entire game tonight. But that's what these playoffs were built around. Yeah. These playoffs were created to put Zion Williamson on TV.
Yep.
You cannot deny that fact. Oh, the Pelicans aren't in the playoffs right now. How can we get Zion to play more? Let's do an 8-game season right before. Yeah, let's do that. We'll bring in a couple teams. Yeah.
There you go.
So he's playing in short bursts. I'm glad they're back. The Lakers and Clippers are on later tonight. We get to see a little bit of Kawhi, a little bit of LeBron.
Yeah.
We're excited. Are you going to watch any of it tonight? I mean, I have the Mariners and the Angels to watch tonight, so I'll probably skip out on Lakers Clippers, but what about you?
What time's Lakers? Is it 10 o'clock?
I think it's at 9. I think this was at 6:30. I think the other one's at 9.
If it's at 9, I can probably. If it was 10 o'clock, I'd be pushing it.
It is at 9.
All right. I'll probably tune into that one then. Yeah.
All right.
Check out a little Battle of Los Angeles in Florida.
Yeah, the Mariners don't start till 10, so I have an hour of NBA I could tune into.
There you go.
We'll see if LeBron's still dishing it out in the playoffs here. I think that could be a lot of fun. I'll keep my eye on. We'll keep our eye on Zion for the rest of this show if I remember to go back and look. And another sport that's going on right now is golf. I just checked real quick, and I have to throw golf out there. I didn't know if I was going to, but I have to. Brooks Koepka, who is delaying surgery, he has something up with his knee, but he said, "No, I'm going to keep playing." He's right now leading the FedEx St. Jude Invitational with 8 under. First place all alone. The next closest guy is 6 under, Ricky Fowler. And he's 8 under for the day. He had 1 bogey. So he had 9 birdies, 1 bogue. And I was going to say, he birdied his first 4 holes to start the day.
Yeah.
And then the other person I was keeping my eye on was Bryson DeChambeau because he started his day also 4 under. He was tied when I looked earlier today. He hit an eagle on hole 16, but they actually changed the stat. I guess they found a penalty stroke in there or something, and he didn't eagle hole 16. He just birdied hole 16, and he ended up 3 under for the day. Oh, I clicked on the wrong guy. No, they didn't change it. Sorry, he got his eagle. He double bogeyed on the 7th hole, bogeyed on 4. Now he's 3 under for the day. I thought I clicked on the right name, but apparently I didn't. Yeah, he did eagle 16, which was a par 5. So that's impressive. And if anyone's going to eagle a par 5, it's Bryson. He probably drove it to the freaking green, knowing him.
Probably get it on the green from the tee box and then 2-putt.
Knowing him, probably. And then outside of that, he started his day 4 under on the back 9. Then birdied again for 5 under, and then bogey, double bogey. So he had a rough front 9, which was the back 9 for him, but he started on the back 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brooks Koepka all alone at 8 under.
Nice.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I think I like golf. I like following golf. I wish I could watch it, but I don't have cable. And I haven't figured out how to else watch it. I've tried dirty ways of watching golf, and I've actually been unsuccessful.
Oh.
You go to Reddit. Go to Reddit and be like, hey, give me them free golf streams. They're not really. No one's bothering to make illegal streams for golf. No one cares. So,
oh man,
sadness ensues. So let's get into some really fun stuff. I can't wait to hear because we haven't talked about this yet. I don't think.
No,
I can't wait to get your opinion. Joe, the hero we need, not the hero we deserve, Kelly, has been suspended. I think we talked about this on Tuesday a little bit. He's been suspended for having intent to intentionally hit Astros batters. So basically, I think it was 3 batters total had to dodge pitches from Joe Kelly because they're trying to go at his shoulder, their chest, his head at one point.
Yeah,
one of them was Carlos Correa, and he had to duck out of the way, matrix, and then Joe Kelly went on to strike him out. And everyone's seen the video of he strikes him out, and then Joe Kelly starts walking towards the dugout, looks back at Correa and gives him the old. Did I? Aw, you can't hit without cheating. Aw, kind of look. Cleared the benches. Everyone got mad. Everyone thought it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
everyone enjoyed it. Everyone was looking at baseball like, oh, this is a fun storyline we can follow. And then they go and mess it up.
Yep.
Naturally. As baseball would, they mess it up. They suspended Joe Kelly for 8 games for having the intent to intentionally hit Astros batters, which would equal 22 games in a normal season. Since this is reduced, 8 games in a 60-game season, that's a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
But no Astros players have been suspended for cheating. I mean, what? It's just Major League Baseball fumbling another thing. I mean, they can't do anything right, and this is another thing. I know they've already came out earlier in the season before the season started. They said, "Don't do it." They said they basically said they were going to protect the Astros players. Like, we can't have you trying to kill Astros batters. They said that, but now they actually acted on it. 8 games for intentionally trying to hit the batters. It's ridiculous. If they had suspended Altuve or Bregman or Correa, any of them, no one would probably care as much. But the fact that you're suspending people that are trying to get some justice, and you're protecting cheaters, I mean, you know my opinion. What's your opinion? I'd imagine it's somewhere in the same realm.
It pretty much is. I mean, this is just the MLB just falling flat on their face over and over and over again this spring. They have consistently not done things the right way they should have done. They go round and round in circles with policies when it should have been done right the first time. You can't penalize a team correctly for a team that literally cheated with algorithms and trash cans and pounding just so they could win a championship. And I did hear something actually kind of interesting this morning, that if you go back and watch the clip of like the intent, like the quote unquote intentional like throws from Joe Kelly, the ump never says anything to the Dodgers. Not a single Dodger does the umpire warn them or anything. He warns the Astros. The umpires are all like, you guys deserve this. Like, I'm going to let this play out, and we're just going to let it ride. And then the MLB comes in and says, oh, well, Joe Kelly's got an intention of, has intentionally done this before, so we're going to suspend him to make a point. You're not making a point to save the MLB. You're making a point to hurt the MLB. This literally hurts the fan base, because now you just took something that was fun and made it boring as AF because you're going to suspend a guy because he took had a little fun with some batters.
And for those who don't know, I mean, the Dodgers are the ones that got cheated out of a World Series championship because of the Astros. The Dodgers could have won the World Series if the Astros weren't cheating. That's why they're so mad. To be fair, Joe Kelly wasn't on the team that year, but still.
It's the Astros.
It's still the Astros. Excuse me. That beer. Whew. Yeah. And I also have to mention this just to be roughly, I don't want to say fair, but how intentional was it is the question, because if you remembered into the offseason a long time ago, Joe Kelly, if you remember a video, there was a pitcher practicing his changeup in the backyard of his house, and he ends up breaking a window in the house. Like, he's throwing it at a net, and he just goes way off and breaks a window that was roughly it was uphill a little bit. Oh, it wasn't a flat surface. Joe Kelly was the one who broke that window while practicing his changeup.
Do you think maybe there's a reason why he's a relief pitcher and not a starter?
Maybe by the fact that he broke a window in his house while practicing a changeup. Yeah, I'd say there's a reason. So, I don't know how. I guess this is my final question: is how do you know they suspend him for having intent? Right. And you don't know if he was trying to intentionally hit batters. So, since you're basically making an assumption there, can we make the assumption that the Astros are still cheating? Do they still have the intent to cheat? Right. I mean, none of them were suspended. Yeah. They're still. I think they lost to the Dodgers twice, so their record might be somewhere around 4-2. Maybe they're 3-3. Maybe they're still cheating. I mean, they're still putting up numbers. Maybe they're having an intent to cheat. Maybe they're practicing. You don't know. It's an assumption. Yeah. Right. You can't suspend someone 8 games for maybe he's trying to hit them. Right. And I think he didn't even hit them. He didn't make contact. Granted, he had to dodge out of the way, so he was unsuccessful. But he didn't actually hit anyone. I'm just having a lot of problem with this with MLB. I just hate it. Right. I really hate it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you could. You bring up your point here. Suspending someone for the assumption of intent is complete BS. The fact you should not be able to be suspended for having intent unless an umpire in that game is calling you out and saying, "This is your warning. Knock it off." Then I would see I would see an issue where the MLB has to get involved. This is the MLB just trying to flex their muscles, and they're flexing the wrong way. Right. Exactly. Yeah, you're trying to flex them and make you look like we're going to protect the cheaters. Oh wait! Now they're going to get beamed next time. Oh yeah! Wait a minute. But what chances are pitchers going to take now? I mean, are they really going? You can't.
Yeah.
The MLB flexed their muscles, made themselves look like a bunch of idiots.
Yep.
And now the Astros will have a season where they won't get beaned anymore because now pitchers are afraid they're going to get suspended for like 8 games, which would normally be 22 in a normal season. I don't know. And maybe MLB didn't do the math. I could be wrong. Like 8 games is what you would expect them to suspend a player for during a regular full schedule. I don't know, 8 games seems like a lot in a 60-game season. That's almost a sixth of your season. It's crazy to me. And I'm not sure if we lost Fred's connection. He's pretty still in the video. So while we wait to see if Fred can make it back to the stream, I'll move on to the next topic here. That's still baseball, but the Philadelphia Phillies have canceled their series this weekend with the Blue Jays because they have had a couple of positive COVID tests. One of the coaches and a clubhouse staff member have been tested positive for COVID. Welcome back to the stream.
Thanks. Every time.
Every time.
I'm going to call Spectrum probably soon and be like, what do you...
Yes, anyone who has Spectrum, we feel your pain because I have it as well.
It just like cut out on me and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, and then StreamYard started buffering and glitching and I was like, all right, well, I mean, the nice thing is I was able to refresh the page and it brought me back to the broadcasting studio, so that was a plus.
And it's working now, at least.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to the Phillies and how they canceled their series this weekend with the Blue Jays because a coach and a clubhouse staff member have tested positive. And I just want to bring up this point again because the MLB has finally came out and said that they're thinking about doing 7-inning double headers as a way to make up these games. They are doing everything in their power not to forfeit games. Because once you forfeit games, you look weak. You look like you've been beat. Yep. It looks like you're an idiot because you didn't plan for this possibility by leaving enough openings in the schedule in the season to make up games. They didn't plan for this. And now they're panicking like, oh, what do we do? And now 7-inning double headers are their solution. That's not a solution.
No.
This entire season is going to be the largest, if we even get to the World Series, if there is a World Series champion, it is going to be the second largest asterisk in World Series history next to the Astros because they're just straight up cheaters. This is going to be a huge asterisk that you won. Like some of your games could have been 7-inning doubleheaders out of a 60-game season. It's going to be a very, very large asterisk, in my opinion, no matter who wins it. I don't care who wins it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's like the MLB doesn't want to look weak. Well, they clearly are because they couldn't get a deal done soon enough to create the buffer in their schedule to allow for these games to happen because they all, I mean, Rob Manfred's like, oh, well, our protocols are adequate. Like, no, they're not. They're junk because your players don't follow protocols and go partying and whatever instead of trying to be safe and try to help us at least have sports this summer and this fall. And it's this dumbest thing to try to cram in all these games. It just needs to be, nope, these are the games we played. These are the games that count. If you had to forfeit a game, you just played less games this year.
Yeah, the discussion that I also heard, it was more of just a discussion. It was a major league baseball discussion, was maybe if this is really something that's going to impact a lot of teams, if not the majority of teams, instead of, actual wins and losses is who determine who gets into the playoffs, it's winning percentage.
Right.
So you might have played less games, but we're going to go based off of win percentage. That is a terrible idea because then you get somebody who didn't play a full 60 games. They only play, let's say they had to miss out on 3 different series, so they only end up playing maybe even a little under 50 games, and then they're at 500, 600, 650 for the season, but they missed out on 12 games.
Right.
and you squeak in by beating somebody out that played a full 60-game schedule, that's going to raise hell for Major League Baseball if that happens.
Well, I think that's where you got to put the exception. If the team's playing an entire season, their record trumps the winning percentage. And then if you're trying to fill out the teams for the playoffs, then it goes to winning percentage for teams that didn't play an entire season.
That'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting.
If they had to result to that, that'd be
right.
That'd be terrifying. I would be scared to see the result if they had to break down to that. But they might have to at some point. But 7-inning doubleheaders is their current thing on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Moving on to college football, the ACC said, we can do it. We're going to do it, darn it. We're the first ones. They came out with an 11-game schedule. They didn't come out and say, we're going to do an all-conference season or an outside of the conference. They came out with a schedule. They said, here, they just went, the old thing people used to do. They take out, they flopped it on the table and he said, here's our 11-game schedule. And it even includes Notre Dame. They even threw Notre Dame in there. This is a power move by the ACC. Not going to lie. Being the first ones to come out and do this. They left one game slot to be determined for the possibility of out-of-conference game. I love it. That's awesome. The out-of-conference game has to be played at a home stadium of an ACC school, which is fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
That means, the out-of-conference team has to come to the ACC to play.
So is Notre Dame playing everything on the road? Because technically, they're out of conference.
No. Notre Dame got absorbed by the ACC this year.
Oh.
Notre Dame is ACC this year. Yes.
Oh.
So ACC went with an 11-game schedule for the conference, and the talks between the ACC and Notre Dame resulted in Notre Dame being considered part of the ACC this year because, like we talked about a few weeks ago, when the Big Ten started coming out, and the big question is, what does Notre Dame do because they're independent? Well, now we have an answer. They're going to be part of the ACC this year. Who knows if it changes next year, if they go back to being independent, if we're finally back to a more normal kind of situation going on, or if they say ACC. Maybe Corona made Notre Dame part of the ACC.
I would imagine they'd go back, but if the season does pan out and maybe they like the opponents they play, maybe they do stay ACC. That'd be very interesting to see what happens after this season. Yeah,
I mean, I think the biggest challenge for Notre Dame is, from what I heard this morning, the Notre Dame Navy game, or the Notre Dame Navy rivalry, which was supposed to be played in Ireland this fall.
No.
And now it's not.
Definitely
and
not.
They can't, because of it being out of conference technically, with the Notre Dame being part of the ACC, they can't play it in Maryland because it's supposed to be a Navy home game. So now they'd have to go to Notre Dame to play this game. Does it work out? I don't know. But that was one of the big questions for Notre Dame joining the ACC, with this news that because of this long history rivalry, that Notre Dame and Navy are still trying to put together, but we'll see what happens.
Very interesting. And there's a couple of other non-conference schools in this country, if I'm not mistaken, that are going to have to figure it out like Notre Dame did. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know there's a couple out there.
Yeah.
Right after the ACC, I guess this only came out a little bit earlier this evening. The SEC announced a 10-game schedule, and it'll be a complete in-conference schedule. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 10-game all-SEC season, and it will not start until September 26th. They're giving it a little bit more time, giving themselves some wiggle room in there for August, September to get ready for the season.
Yeah.
So, SEC and ACC ready to go.
Yep. Pac-12's ready. Big Ten's ready. Just waiting on the Big
schedules.
Well, they don't have schedule, but they have plans.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, SEC doesn't have an exact who's playing who for that. Like, that's supposed to come later. like the Washington football team's name coming at a later date
to be determined. Yeah.
But the Big 12's the last of the Power Five that have decided or have come to a decision on how they want to proceed with this potential season's schedule.
And then one last quick point, because I remember Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. He said he expects and really only wanted an 8 to 10 game schedule for the season. So now being part of the ACC, he's going to play 11. I wonder how he feels about that. I think that'd be a good interview, maybe, if someone can get Brian Kelly on the horn. Be a good question to ask him.
Well, another interesting point I just thought of is that the SEC only normally plays 8 games in conference.
Well, now they have to figure out 2 others to play.
Yeah, they got to play 2 more games in conference. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, see where they pull those from. See if we get a couple. I don't know if they got a couple. Is Alabama in the SEC?
Yep.
I'm not sure which teams are what conference.
Alabama.
It's always been a weakness of mine. Is Alabama, Georgia in SEC? That's a big game.
Georgia's ACC.
Oh, okay.
So, like SEC from what I can remember offhand, like LSU, Alabama.
Oh, there you go.
I want Auburn is another big one in the SEC.
Ooh. 2 Alabama-Auburn games.
Yeah. Why not repeat it? Like have a repeating game like we do in the NFL.
Right. Yeah, you might as well pick the 2 big rivalries. I know Alabama-Auburn's a good one, or if you want to do even Alabama-LSU, I'm fine with either one, although LSU is going to have a weird season because pretty much every single player on their team got drafted in the NFL. So I have no idea what the LSU Tigers are. Go Tigers. All right. That's all we got for other sports. We're going to move on to the very little amount of NFL news we have because it's pretty quiet these days.
Yeah.
But we're going to move to NFL news. Nope, that was bad.
Nope.
Got to at least hit the board.
Yeah.
Training camp has started. Players are at camp. All of the COVID-19, chemical biohazard plans for all 32 teams have been approved. NFL's underway. People are testing. They're testing people. Some people are testing positive, like the Bills here. They have sent all their rookies home, and they're going to be doing things virtually for a little while because there was 5 positive COVID tests. So they got everyone out of the building, which is smart.
Yeah, they're being proactive, and that's what you have to do.
Reduce the damage. So they're going to do everything virtual for a little while, bring people back later. But for everyone else, I mean, I'm sure maybe some teams are going to consider that down the road because I don't know what – I think the Cowboys had 0 positive tests for one team. I think the Seahawks had 1 or 2. I don't remember who they were. But if you'll see it on social media and ESPN updates about players getting put on the injured reserve / COVID-19 list. That's reserved for players that either test positive or come in contact with somebody who tests positive later. So you'll be able to keep track of your COVID-19 victims via that injury list if you are interested for your team. But that's really all we got going on for training camps. People are reporting. People are going home. Bills. And then we talked about on Tuesday about people not playing out the season because of COVID-19. Another one of those big players is Damian Williams from the Chiefs, the running back from the Chiefs. He's opting out. Players have until Monday to opt out. That's the final. That's the deadline. If you want to skip out on this season, Monday is your deadline. But this really puts a lot of eyeballs and fantasy football players' eyeballs on Clyde Edwards, the rookie running back that they just got out of LSU. People thought he was going to carve out a role for himself in the season. I don't think he has to carve it out anymore. I think he just has it with Damian Williams out for the season now. He might work his way into a running back 1 role. So I'll be interested to see where he gets drafted, what his ADP is this season. I would imagine it would be first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see round 3 being a good average, somewhere in round 3.
Well, you got to expect him to go wherever Damian Williams would have went, because whoever would have picked up Damian Williams, whether it be a Chiefs fan, like someone who likes the player, not looking at stats right away, or if like all the big name running backs have gone, like now you're looking for your second tier, third tier running backs, he's gonna fall right where Damian Williams would have gone. So he's gonna get picked early,
which might be the second round then. I don't think he's a first round running back. I don't think Damian Williams was. I think just the fact that he's rookie might scare off some people too. That's why he might fall a little bit further than Damian Williams would have been drafted. But I get your point for sure.
Right.
So late second round, somewhere in the third round, I could definitely see him going for fantasy football. But a lot of eyeballs on Clyde Edwards now.
Yeah.
I just threw this in here because I thought it was fun. The Panthers have released kicker Graham. No! That's what Giants fans were screaming when he hit that 63-yarder. I know Giants fans still cry over that. It was so funny. 63 yards on the leg of Graham Gano. That saves them $2.8 million in cap this season. It's not like they're going to do anything with it anyways. Mm-hmm. I don't know who they're targeting. I think they have a guy named Joey Sly is their backup kicker. Gano's he's been a Panthers figure for a while, so that's kind of, I know a lot of Panthers fans are upset with seeing him leave.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they got rid of their kicker and not like Christian McCaffrey, as some people speculated that they should have.
Oof, that'd be a tough one.
Could you imagine being a Panthers fan and they got rid of Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, pretty much.
I would burn everything I own Panthers related.
Find a new team.
Just get out of there. Oh, my Lord, that'd be terrible. I'll let you take this last one because I want to know how you feel about Shady.
All right. Well, yeah. LaShawn Shady McCoy has he's a free agent after being with the Chiefs last year and winning Super Bowl, but he's found a new team, and it is the biggest bandwagon team this year. You guessed it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's going to get that back-to-back ring.
No. But, I mean, it's only a one-year deal. And interestingly, when I was reading up on it just to see if there was any numbers, apparently, allegedly, McCoy had been talking with the Eagles, who he had started out with in his career. Sounds like talks kind of fell through a little bit, and he ended up going with the Bucs. But it's a bandwagon thing. He's literally going to Tampa because Tom Brady's there, Rob Gronkowski's there. You have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. You got a defense that's getting really stacked over there with talent, just by the way they have built the team. And he's just going to try and ride the coattails of this team to win another to try to win another championship like he did at Kansas City.
I was going to say for the second time.
Right. Because I'm pretty sure he was inactive for the Super Bowl game.
He was inactive I don't think he played in the whole playoffs. He might have gotten a couple snaps in the playoffs, but he was inactive for the Super Bowl.
I don't think he played for the playoffs, but yeah, it's
easiest ring of his life.
Yep.
But we make fun of him for that. But let's be honest, there's tons and tons and tons of players that ride coattails for Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that got rings on the Patriots. Like there's Patriot players with like 3 rings. You won't even know their name. So,
right.
To be fair, there's a lot of players like that. I think Fred's losing connection again. So as we transition out of NFL news, while we wait for him to figure that out, our main segment is going to be the NFL Top 100 ? The main segment and also the title of this, because the NFL Top 100 came out and there are a lot of question marks on here. Granted, this isn't like your normal list. Normal list is, analysts will come up with who's rated where, like Madden rankings. That's figured out by people on the field. You always see the picture of the guy in a Madden jacket doing talent performance. This one is voted on by the players, and it's almost strictly based off of how they performed last season, because we'll dive into that here in a minute about this year's rankings and last year's rankings. But as we wait for Fred to get back, we're going to talk about some of our teams, where they landed with the Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills. Alrighty, technical difficulties on the side of Derf, Spectrum Internet. I also have Spectrum Internet, but I guess his is just hooked up wrong. So before we go, we'll leave Bills and Seahawks players until he can make his return, if he can. But I'm going to go based off of, let's do quarterbacks first, because I thought this one was more interesting than anything, was where all the quarterbacks ranked on the top 100. The first overall quarterback and the overall number one player voted by the players in the NFL was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson topped everybody. He topped Russell Wilson. He topped Patrick Mahomes. He's the number one rated quarterback, number one rated player in the NFL, at least for last season. Because we say last season strictly because Lamar Jackson was not on the list last year. He was not there. So this is as good as you can, as good as a leap as you can make. You went from not on the list to number one. That's how you know you made an impact last season, is when the players in the league, your peers, looked at you and said, that guy is number one. And that speaks a lot to what the players think of him. And I think it's fair. If you're strictly looking at season by season comparisons of players and where they vote them, yes, he had a very dominant season. That's why he was the MVP. And it's fair that he's rated at one overall. I mean, yeah, he choked out in the playoffs, but he had a very successful season, and that's why he got MVP. The number two player overall and also the number two quarterback was Russell Wilson. So close. So close. Russell Wilson. So close to the number one overall, just like he was probably number two. He hasn't received any because Lamar Jackson was unanimous MVP. But Russell Wilson has never received an MVP vote, but he got plenty of votes for almost MVP. Number two overall in the NFL top 100. That's a great spot for him. That's the highest rated a Seahawks player has ever been in the top 100. He's been on the top 100 list for 8 years in a row. So he just keeps getting higher and higher. Maybe next year's his year. Russell Wilson might leap to number one next season. You never know. Durf's back.
I'm back, yeah.
All righty.
This is getting old real quick. Apparently, it was the daily router reboot time to do that router. So, you unplug it, let it come back on, and it works. Apparently, it works fine now. So I have no idea why it does that. Yeah. I'm very frustrating. Can't wait till green light comes here. That's right, Spectrum. I can't wait till green light takes you over.
Oh, you tell them. Hashtag green light. Maybe we can get green light to sponsor the show.
Yeah,
nice. Let's reach out to them.
Yeah.
So I just started going over the quarterback list here. I only got into Lamar and Russell Wilson. Do you have any opinions on Lamar and Russell Wilson being 1 and 2 on the list?
It should be at least flipped in Lamar lower.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was fair.
I don't like Lamar at number one. That's the problem.
We got to look at the list, though. It's the players that voted on this. And the players played against Lamar and how dominant he was. I watched him beat the Seahawks with his legs. It was painful to watch. I don't hate that the players would put him at number one, being how dominant he was last season.
But I think there's a player ahead of him, though, that should have been there.
I think so, too. But that's just my heart talking.
Well, I'm talking about the next one on the quarterbacks list.
Oh, the next one. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would put I hate to say this, I really do. But yes, Patrick Mahomes is the third rated quarterback on this list, but fourth overall. He should have been number one, I think, and then Lamar, and then Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I think that would have been a nice 1, 2, 3 at the top there. But with one player shoved in between, which I believe was Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Was number 3 overall, which he deserves to be wherever he wants to be. He tells people where he wants to be ranked. I feel like being 3 this year. Vote for me at 3. Yes, sir. I'll do that. Okay. That's how I imagine that conversation goes.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I will sack you, but I'm a corner. I will still sack you. Yeah, he just does whatever he wants. Yeah, so Lamar, Russell, and then Patrick Mahomes, which is back-to-back years for Patrick Mahomes at number 4, actually. Yeah. Number 4 is Drew Brees at 12th overall, and then Tom Brady right behind him at 14 with 14th overall, number 5 quarterback, and number 6 is Aaron Rodgers at number 16. I say those 3 in order because those are kind of your older guys.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of shoved there. They're outside the top 10. They're in the top 20. So if you just want to look at those 3 guys, Breeze and then Brady and then Rodgers, I would put Rodgers at 4 and then Breeze and then Brady at 6.
Yeah.
That's how I would have ranked them.
That's how I would have done it too.
Okay. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, they went 13-3 to be fair. And I'll always say it was the worst 13-3 team to ever happen. But he is still a very skilled person with the almost zero talent he has on that offense. Drew Brees, he has trouble in clutch moments, obviously, especially in the playoffs. And Tom Brady just had a bad year. I feel like
I think it's due to age, though.
Yeah, because I was talking about trying to put this in the right. I was talking about how last year, how things change from year to year. So I think this list is strictly based off of how the year that last year went. Because we'll talk about that with another list I put on here right below after we get done with this one. So if you're looking at it from a year-to-year thing, which is how I think most of this is done, Tom Brady should be much, 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 much lower.
Yes.
Like maybe in the 50s.
Yep.
Because he did not have a good year last year. Granted, he forced that terrible team into the playoffs, but overall, that Patriots team was led by defense strongly.
And I think that's where, because it's voted on players, a lot of players have respect for him, and they think that respect makes him a better player. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You can have respect for a guy, but the guy could be trash.
Right. So I'll be interested to see how he finishes with the Bucs this year, at least how everything goes, because this isn't like the NFL Top 100 is a fun list because it's voted on by players. I think it's well produced. So I'll be keeping an eye on next season to see if he, just based off of respect, if he stays in the top 20, if he goes higher. The next one is Deshaun Watson at 20. I think that's fine. I have no issue with that.
No, that sounds good.
And then here comes like the real question marks. This is the bottom list here. Jimmy G at 43. So you're saying it goes Lamar, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and then the next quarterback that comes to your mind as the next best quarterback in the NFL is Jimmy Garoppolo. There's not a list on this planet except this one where Jimmy Garoppolo is the 8th best quarterback in the NFL. It's just not a thing.
Right, no.
So that's on the players. I don't know what they see in Jimmy G, but he is not the 8th rated quarterback in the league. Because then right after that, 46 is Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
I would be fine with him being the 8th overall quarterback in the league. He has some trouble in spots, but if you're throwing him in like the 50s, 40s range, I would be fine with him there. And then Kirk Cousins at 10th overall, 58th overall, 10th rated quarterback.
Yeah.
That seems fair. Now I have a big issue. I have a very big issue. And I have a couple of Facebook friends that will defend this man till their grave.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, the 11th overall quarterback, 68th overall. This is the man that had 87 passing yards in the playoff game. And people throw up stats like he has like the best QBR, some of the best completion percentage. That's because he's throwing 12 passes a game, if that. He was 7 of 8. Yeah, his percentage is going to be through the roof because he's 7 of 8 for the entire game. That entire team runs off of Derrick Henry, who was 10th on the list this season. Ryan Tannehill is a okay game manager. If he has to throw the ball, he'll throw it. Great.
Yeah.
That's because 90% of the defense is focused on Derrick Henry.
Right.
Infuriating that he is at the 11th overall. And then you have Josh Allen, 87th overall, 12th quarterback, and Kyler Murray at 90, 13th quarterback on the list.
All right. I don't mind the end there. I don't mind Kyler Murray at 90.
Where's Carson Wentz?
See, now that's where Jimmy G should be replaced with Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz needs to be on this list.
And then kick Tannehill out, throw Jimmy G at 68, move him from 8 to 11, put Carson Wentz at 8. I would agree with that. I think maybe people just don't respect Carson Wentz's game.
And it goes back, I think, to those rumors that that the Eagles players had a lot of issues with Carson Wentz's leadership style. There was rumors that Carson Wentz was just not a fan of his team. Like, teammates did not like him. And does that stem to outside of just the Eagles? Is Carson Wentz looked at as just someone that the players don't respect? And maybe that's why he did not make this list. Because he plays well. He's a pretty good quarterback, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
If it was not for his injuries, but for his play style, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He should be on this list. So I think this is more of a players' respect for Carson kind of issue, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one.
So that's all the quarterbacks on this list. I think this was fun. Let me read real quick this year's top 10. This year's top 10 was Lamar Jackson 1, Russell Wilson 2, Aaron Donald 3, Patrick Mahomes 4, Michael Thomas 5. He broke receiving records. I mean, that's fair. Christian McCaffrey, third player ever to have 1,500 rushing yards and 1,500 receiving yards, I think it was. Or was it 1,000 each? Maybe it was 1,000 each. I don't remember.
Something.
Crazy season. George Kittle at 7, which where's Travis Kelce on this list at 18? I don't know if George Kittle at 7 and then Kelce at 18. That's a pretty large gap. I don't know if I agree with that.
All right.
But I'm fine with Kittle at 7, but Kelce at 18, that's too much of that's a big gap for me. But still, DeAndre Hopkins at 8, Stephon Gilmore at 9, and then Derrick Henry at 10. Julio Jones at 11, right outside the top 10. Then the part I want to talk about is the top 10 from last year. Mm-hmm. I thought this was fun. Aaron Donald was number 1 overall last year. He's number 3 this year. Drew Brees was 2nd overall last year. He's 12th this year.
Wow.
Khalil Mack. Do you know what team Khalil Mack's on this year even? The non-average NFL fan could probably not tell you that Khalil Mack is a Chicago Bear. Because you just don't remember. He was 3rd overall last year. He's 19th this year. Patrick Mahomes, like we said, he was still back-to-back years at number 4. Mm-hmm. Todd Gurley was 5th last year. 5th.
That's insane.
This year, he was still on the list this year, somehow.
That's impressive that he's still on the list.
He was at 51. I'm shocked that he even made the list, to be honest. Tom Brady was 6th overall. He was 14th this year. Number 7's a doozy. Number 7, Antonio Brown.
Oh, man.
Woo! Obviously, he was not on the list this year. 7th last year. That's bad.
Wow. That's a drop off there.
Brandon Combs coming in from Triple Shot Sports. How is Mahomes not number 1? We questioned that earlier on as well. Almost as bad as Bucks having Henry as 7th. That's right. Yeah, we got in a fun conversation between Brandon, Michael, Buckheister, and myself about Henry on his 7th best running back list. From the Mike and Mike Man Hour on the RTF Sports Network. Going back here, Aaron Rodgers was 8th overall last year. He's 16th this year. Julio Jones did break the top 10 last year, number 9. He was 11th this year. And then Von Miller was 10th overall last year. He was 26th this year.
Wow. That's it seems like you're getting a little bit of change of the guard there. Like a lot of these older players that were high up there last year, now they're dropping out of the top 10. You got these a lot of these players probably see it as like you got new shiny toys to play with in the NFL. So like those guys they're doing well. So like those guys are going to move up a lot faster.
Yeah, you definitely have some of the newer young guns in the top 10 this year, like George Kittle, CMC. Now, I'm curious, if you had to pick one person out of this year's top 10 to not make the top 10 next year, who would you pick out of this list?
I would pick Derrick Henry. I would pick Derrick Henry.
Okay.
I want to say Stephon Gilmore, but I think it's going to be Henry.
So those are my top two. Brandon Combs says, I'm on the network too. That is true. Triple Shot Sports on the RTF Sports Network as well. Great newer show that we've added. And Mahomes is clear the number one. Yes, I think that's pretty true.
Yeah.
But for who should not make it next year, you'd like to think, because there's so much that changes from year to year. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry or Stephon Gilmore is definitely my top two options. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick Derrick Henry. I'm a big Derrick Henry hater. I'm hating on Derrick Henry. So
yeah.
And then to finish it off, we just wanted to do our quick little Bills and Seahawks here. For the Seahawks, we had Chris Carson, 96th overall. DK Metcalf in his rookie season made it to number 81, which is like, let's go, son. Yeah. Tyler Lockett, 65th overall. People hating. Jadeveon Clowney at 41. I don't know how he made it to 41. That might just be like a name recognition thing. He should not be that high. Jamal Adams at 27. Granted, he was with the Jets last season, but still great player. Bobby Wagner at 13th overall. I'll take that. I think, honestly, it might be a little high, but he is still one of the best linebackers in the league. Mm-hmm. I just don't think last season he had a great year. He led the league in tackles, but I don't know. Bobby can't cover in pass coverage as well these days. He's getting a little older, and you saw him lose a step this season, I think. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Russell Wilson second overall. Where are the Bills at? And that's two different questions.
Not even that long of a list, but I mean, I was ecstatic to see at 87 we had Josh Allen. Like to finally have a Bills quarterback on this list. Not like a defensive lineman or a corner or a running back just because he had great stats from the year before with another team. But Josh Allen was at 87. I'm happy with that. And while it was with the Vikings, Stephon Diggs falls at 54 for the Bills. And then last but not least, Trey White falling at 47, which is great for him because if I had to pick a corner between him and Gilmore, I'm picking White. Like I think to me,
47 is disrespectful.
It is a little bit, but I mean, there's a lot of other good players out there other than the corner position. Like corner position, like that's 1A. I mean, I didn't look to see what other corners were ahead of Trey White. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with 3. I mean, it's kind of for like a Bills fan in the Pro Bowl, like. You hope for more than one. Hope for someone who's not on the alternative team roster.
Yeah, you're not going to like it, but I think there's only 2 corners ahead of him. It's Jalen Ramsey, which is kind of fair. He's good.
Yeah.
The number one, the other one above him, Richard Sherman.
Not any. I don't think anymore. I think Sherman maybe in his prime.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of name recognition getting him all the way up to.
And I think this list is just as bad. Like the validation of this list is about it almost as worse as the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, because I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on it, and you've heard the players come out and say there's a lot of disrespect in a couple places. Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley had injuries last year. He's at number 31.
Ooh,
seems that's kind of rough there.
Yeah,
below Dalvin Cook. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they can try again for next year.
Yeah, try again next year, boys. Brandon Combs, Derrick Henry is the modern day Jim Brown. Should slap those words out of your mouth. But that's all the time we have here for On and Off the Field. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you're following on social media and all that. Make sure you vote for the show. We have already posted the link. Vote for the show for the Next Best Podcast competition by Maps Media and Millennials Anonymous.
Yeah.
I think we're leading, and I think voting ends tomorrow. So just keep voting. Make sure we secure that win for this week. So, yeah, thank you very much. And as always,
all hail the Jockstrap King.